Hey everyone, Jody Garrett, Prosperity Home Mortgage. I'm a mortgage loan originator here in Oak Park, Illinois. I'm going to do a series of videos on what renters should be doing right now in preparation to buy. It's a interesting time to be buying a property anywhere in the country, and there's one thing in particular that I do hope and wish and support for anybody who's renting, who's sort of hiding and waiting before they buy, what to do right now. If you're all just resolved to just wait and not do anything, what should you be doing? There is one thing. Let's get started. I'm going to be real quick with these videos, 5 minutes or so. Let's get started. The one thing that renters should be doing right now is, as I advance the slides, improve your credit score. Okay. You should be trying desperately to improve your credit score now. It wasn't as important before. It is so important right now. And here's the dynamics. One, why it's different now. Interest rates, they've gone up. Okay. So if you didn't have a great credit score and your interest rate was 4% instead of 3%, who cares, right? Like it was easier before when rates were lower because your lower credit didn't always mean a terribly high rate. In fact, you could choose a different loan program and in some cases might be able to actually get a lower interest rate than a different loan type. Now it's different. Rates are higher. So if you barely qualify at 7% and rates go to 8% or 9%, then your credit score, which is directly tied to your interest rate, is going to, and sometimes KO, knock out somebody's ability to buy. So interest rates are directly affected by credit scores. Rate you want to change. Why it's different now? Fees. It's more expensive now if you have a lower credit score, just voluntarily. It's just more expensive now. People don't like risk. The people that buy loans don't like risk right now. Okay. What does that mean? It means that it's a higher price to entry. But if your credit score is a little bit better, you're a lower risk. Okay. So as defined by the score, the credit score is what has a huge impact on what type of pricing and what type of interest rate you get. And the last part is that the credit scoring model just got a big 40-year or so update. I'll bring us through that in a second. What renters can do right now: one, do you decide what you want to do and how you want to fix your credit? Do you want to do it yourself and not pay anybody? You can, but it's a lot of time. You can do it yourself, but it's a lot of time. Or you can choose to hire a credit professional. That is the path that I would recommend for people, especially if this isn't something that you specialize in or you have no interest in learning more about the profession or about the mechanics of improving your credit. It's better to just outsource it. Okay. Let me get this off of here. Thanks. Your credit report should be in focus once you decide which path you want to take, what to fix, what to improve, what to delete. So there might be some things that are on your credit score that you may not know about. Some things you thought were gone, but actually aren't gone and are affecting your score. The spending habits that you need to change, because the way that you spend actually has an impact on what your score is, and then what actions to take after the fact. So there we go. Adjustments to make. Playing the credit score game. So this is probably the most important part of the slide presentation here. And that's just understanding that they're not making a personal judgment on you. These are computers, they're algorithms. And if you don't create evidence that you're a good credit risk, then no one will know. So if you walk in to somebody like, to my office or someone like me's office and you say, I'm a great credit risk. I don't have any debt. I don't have any credit cards. I only use cash. Well, that's great, but there's no real evidence that you're a credit risk. So there's just evidence that you have no debt. So it's not necessarily better. Here's the second part: is self-reporting your utility bill, your rent, and your cell phone to the credit bureaus is a really, really good thing to do, particularly that rent. Okay, I'll get to that in a second in a little more detail, but you should absolutely start to self-report some of your expenses because they're going to start to score those positively as it relates to credit bureaus, specifically on rent. The best thing to do is to start making your payments out of a bank account once a month from a big bank, one of those big box retail banks, and make it once a month. Do it on the same day every month. Do it the same amount every month. Don't do it in cash. Don't do it as withdrawals. Don't do it from somebody else's account. start creating a record that you are worth the credit risk, particularly for anything on a residency. Okay. Authorized users, if you've got somebody in your sphere that is in family, like in your family someplace, and you want to ask them to be put onto one of their cards that has a long, strong credit history, there's no better way probably to immediately improve your score. And the last suggestion I'll have, these are just suggestions, just some things to take away and research on your own. A secured credit card, that is actual a credit card that is secured against a bank account of yours, but is actually a credit card, even though it's kind of a debit card. It's a credit card with an asterisk, and that's a good way to build some credit muscle over time. This is the old model, and this is largely going to be influential in the new model, but this is the old FICO score model, and 35% is payment history. Okay, that is how often do you pay on time, how often you're late, and then your utilization, how you spread it out across your cards as well. This is that's the most important part of 35%. 30% is the actual amount, not necessarily the dollar amount, mind you. I've seen people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, but how much within the capacity of the card or whatever, how much of that capacity is being used. So somebody who's got $1,000 credit card that rang it up $800, that's 80% usage. Not so good. If you put the $800 in a card that's got $5,000 of limit, that hits your score less. Okay. Again, all the more reason to reach out to use a credit professional. Last slide here. Your changes to credit scoring is coming. There's some new things that are gonna be used to score credits. Credit scores coming in. Trended data is what it's called. It's a little more dynamic than a sort of a static snapshot in time. Here's what you need to know. Some of what you need to know. Minimum payments versus full balance. So now you're going to get more points if you pay off your credit cards in full every month versus just the minimum payments. That's probably a long time coming and probably a good thing. Debt consolidation now docks the score. So the idea is that the algorithm is going to assume that you ran up your credit cards. And so when you try to consolidate, move everything to one card, etc., it's going to actually drop your score a little bit. So maybe not the best thing, but maybe all the more reason not to rack up the debt in the first place. Here's the big winner, though. Rent, telecom, utility payments now count towards the score. It's a huge win for the industry. And here's what I would say. You should make your rent payments and your phone payments and your gas payments and your electric and your water, whatever your payments are, out of a big account. Do it from accounts that are just in your name. Do it evenly once a month. Do it on the same day. And do it for 12 months in a row and don't change. And that is the best way to make sure that it is easy to track you and how you can get those things to count when you're on time. That's the best thing I could give to take away. All right. Need a credit professional? Please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to refer you to anybody who's in credit repair that's in my universe. Also, if you've got somebody that you like and you want to refer them to me in terms of who you've liked in the past to repair credit, please feel free to reach out. I can be reached at my website. You can drop me a message there, jodygarrett.com. And thank you very much.